all-around weapon. It's not going to dominate at any particular range unless it's a Storm Bolter. The Storm Bolters pretty much sucks all around. The Kraken Bolter will actually beat it in its own effective range, so be careful if you see someone using the Storm Bolter, you see somebody running at you with Bolter. He's probably got Kraken Bolts on it, and he'll kill you quite easily. And all 3 points. Bolter Targeter is generally the last one you'll get, and it's generally a lot of work to make sure that you have got it. Was 30 kill streaks or something like that. Now, if you get 6 kills in a row with the same gun, it does count for 2 kill streak challenges. I've gotten that in the past, so confirmed. You don't get 3, die, or you can just keep killing. Generally, you can tag assaults quite easily with this, especially on like Basilica, because there's a few places you can stand behind the pipes on the open point, zoom in, shoot them in the head. Typically, it takes about 3 shots to break their armor, 3 or 4 shots to break armor, and then 2 more headshots and they're dead. After they've landed, they generally don't move terribly quickly because there's a cooldown on fast sprints. Generally, just enough to screw them up, but it's there, and they can go down. There's no pit in here. I'm not going to be able to suicide. There's always grenades. Oh well, time to show off the next weapon. Boom. Armory. I already did that one. Stormbolter. I have rapid reload on this. Don't quite have twin linked. Oop. Will that blow up? No. I'm disappointed. Normal reloads take about twice as long. You can look at the Let's Play to see how long the normal reload animation is. Twin linked will make it this accurate all the time from the hip shooting. It does not affect aim shooting at all. Stormbolter is much more of an anti-assault weapon. Someone on the forums actually calculated it out. It doesn't matter if a Devastator has Iron Halo or not, it'll kill them in 7 hits. I think that's because it fires more than one projectile at a time, and it's sort of random as to how many come out at any particular instant. That's why you'll see people, just being insanely good with it, and then suddenly they're not doing any damage because they're just rolling below average. Now, the effective range for the Stormbolter is just outside the Melta when it's not doing much damage. Let's see. Say somebody's here. If you're standing right about here, it's not going to do you any good. About here, and you'll kill them. It's just outside the Melta's effective range. And just outside the Stormbolter's effective range is the Vengeance Launcher's range. Then hypothetically you would run Plasma Gun, Bolter, and then Stalker Bolter for tactical weapons. At close range, if the other person doesn't have a Melta, you'll probably win the fight so long as he doesn't have Kraken Bolts on a Bolter. I've had that happen a few times, just unload in someone's face, they pull out the Bolter, and I'm dead before I can kill them. Yeah, I do a lot of damage, but be aware the Stormbolter is probably the weakest tactical weapon that needs some kind of boost. Do these blow up? No, I'm disappointed. To talk about special equipment for a tactical, blind grenades are probably the least useful. You throw them, person gets blinded, and they start moving around radically trying to get behind cover because they think an assault's about to eat them. Which is maybe entirely true if you have good teamwork, throw a blind out, the assault doesn't have to use one of his own or just uses combat stims, runs in, kills everybody while they can't see. Now, combat stims themselves much more useful for a tactical than blind grenades because you got your best weapon, your shoulder. Regular shoulder bash does 50 points of armor damage and 75 points of health damage. This means if you combat stim up, you've got 90 points of armor damage and over 100 points for health. Only a Devastator will be able to survive that, and a tactical hasn't taken any damage, which isn't necessarily true all the time. Mastercrafted stims will bring it up to an insta-kill for pretty much anybody. Devastator with Iron Halo feel no pain will survive, but they seem to be dying out in usage these days. You'll probably catch more than a few assaults completely unaware of this fact. When you run down in front of them, slam them, they're dead instantly, and there's not much they can do. Because generally the indicator doesn't pop up, it likes to bug out. There's actually a video on YouTube of somebody doing just that. Combat stim, bash the assault, they're dead. So if you're out of ammo because you used the vengeance launcher, just be aware your shoulder will always be there and will always kill somebody. Frag grenades, probably the standard point for tacticals. Somebody's running behind cover because they're Devastator and the plasma cannon. They like taking peekaboo shots. Throw a frag grenade behind them so they move away from it into your line of fire. And if you've got to, you can do this particularly mean trick. Throw the first grenade behind them, they roll forward, throw the grenade where they're going to land. They can't move out of the way fast enough, and kaboom. Free kill. I used to do that to people when before Relic nerfed the grenade count 1. People were very unhappy with me because you could get a free kill and there was not a lot they could do about it. Devastators would usually just sit there and take it, hoping that Feel No Pain and Iron Halo could soak up enough damage they didn't have to worry about dying. Didn't always happen for them, but hey. Empty this out. It does have a fairly large mag, 60 rounds. I don't think it fires 60 shots again. I think the ammo the shots coming out of it's somewhat random. Yeah, I think it's firing 2 there. Yeah. It is a somewhat random count, so be aware that it's more or less a lottery gun. Sometimes you'll lose, sometimes you'll win big, so it's not necessarily a bad weapon, but it does feel the weakest out of all the tacticals weapons. For class perks, I haven't mentioned much of them because most of them are not very good. The Teleport Homer, it's only useful if you've got a large amount of teamwork going on. Very useful for like rapid redeployment, run up the field, kind of stay back, sniping. Be a very good combo with Stalker Bolter because you're not really trying to get directly into combat. Stay out of it. Somebody with Meltagun with rapid redeployment can spawn on your spot and just rapidly run back. Very good for Dreadnought Assault because you always want somebody kind of around it but not necessarily engaging, so you can hit that and get into the combat as quickly as you can, because if a Dread starts regenerating health, you've probably wasted more than a few grenades and lives thrown at it. Rapid redeployment's a perk that pairs very well with the Meltagun, especially for contested points. Spawn on it, blast somebody, get killed, spawn on it again, blast somebody else. I've actually gotten a multi-kill for the Melta that way. Two people were just standing together behind a pipe on waste management, got them with the same shot because they were already engaged with somebody else. They got me shortly after, but I think we were able to contest the point for about 15 more seconds. Tactical Readout, it's a good beginner's perk, but once you figure out the game, it just doesn't give enough information really to be all that useful. It'll show their armor and their health. If it showed their weapon and perks and the possible grenade counts, I would recommend it more, but as is, once you get a feel for how things work, what people are likely to be running from, running into, what the damage indicators are, like what they flash when they get hit. It might, if you've got weapons versatility and a bolter and a plasma gun, you can tell better which weapon to shoot them with if they got a lot of armor but not any health. It's a beginner's perk. I wouldn't run around with it much more than a couple tries. Mastercrafted and grenades, or Mastercrafted war gear in favor of the armory. The big Grenadier perk for a while everybody hated. Favor of the armory gets you a count up to 4, starts you off with 2. Except for combat stims, you only get a maximum of 2. If you want to be a Grenadier, yeah, it works. I don't really think it's all that good a perk because you can throw 2 grenades on a point. It'd be useful for getting people off a contested point, but I don't think it's as useful as it used to be. Mastercrafted war gear, better off with combat stims these days than anything else. The regular grenade does 200 points of damage, a Mastercrafted grenade does 300. and it stuns anybody caught in the blast radius, regardless of how far away they are. It turns your one grenade into a nuke. Sorry. And with favor of the armory, it gives you 2 nukes, a maximum up to 4. I don't think you could realistically hit it in most gameplay because while grenade drops have been improved, they're not consistent enough. I wouldn't really expect getting any more than 2. Yeah. Yeah. I beat nobody. Because I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, because most of them just really, really suck and never use them. Loadouts. Larman's Blessing increases the health regenerate significantly. You don't get any kind of perk that reduces damage, so this is the closest thing. It's 50 points regeneration per second, so you can go from almost dead to full health in 2 seconds. And I believe the delay for it is about 2 seconds now, 2 or 3 seconds now, increased significantly from what it was. If you're going for kill streak challenges, this is the perk to have. Take a couple of shots, somebody kill them, run behind a wall or something so you can regen your health very quickly. It can keep you alive for a much longer period of time. Don't expect it to keep you alive if somebody's chasing you with a melta gun, a hammer, or a laser cannon. But if you're just working on the challenges, that's what you want to have on them, along with a weapons perk. Actually got all of them, huh? And again, the tactical is defined purely by the weapons perks you can get. You don't start out with any, so the class is somewhat underpowered. But once you start getting most of them, or at least one on all of them, then you're doing much better. Classically, you want to take weapons versatility, 2 weapons, 1 perk on one of them. Generally, it's something like the Kraken bolter with the Stalker bolter or a melta gun. I know for a while a lot of people were running Stalker bolter and melta, so you could actually engage anyone at any range effectively. Let's see, forgetting anything. Yeah, rapid fire reload for the Storm Bolter is probably the only one I'd want to speak of. If you're constantly running, noticing you're just getting in these huge fights all the time, it'd be worthwhile. But if it's a much slower paced game, or just everyone's hitting each other with overwhelming force and then they back off to gather overwhelming force again, it's not going to be all that useful. If you just get rid of the compulsion to hit reload after you do every shot, 60 rounds, it's more than sufficient to drop 2 or 3 people. So you don't have to have it on, but if you're going for like a kill streak challenge, having this in Larman's Blessing is probably your best bet. And let's see, anything else I want to add on the tactical? The tactical is a much more cerebral class than the assault. You really need to consider your build before you go into the fight. With an assault, so long as you pick something that isn't like true grit or blast off, you can do pretty good so long as you pay attention, watch the flow of the game. The assault's success is defined on how you play in the game. Tactically, you need to build a successful tactical before the game begins. If you're just struggling with something, get with another perk loadout, because otherwise you're just going to keep struggling because it's not going to work for that particular match. So you want to have multiple builds for different types of games. This is my classic for Siege Ground. Losing a point, get on this, kill everybody real quick. This was kind of something I just played around with a bit. Serrated Blade, I forgot to mention that one. Oh well. Regular melee attack is 40 points of damage. Serrated Blade turns it up to 65. With Mastercrafted combat stems, you're doing 130 points of damage per swing. That's as much as an axe is, so you can go at a 2-hit kill with that. Very close range, but you can surprise people when you're hitting them that hard. Combat stems also make you immune to stun damage, so if assault lands on your head and you've got combat stems active, yeah, you've taken a lot of damage, but you're not stunned. Hit him with an interrupt attack, and then kill him. Against Devastators, you don't want to take them head on. You always want to flank them. It may be difficult because a lot of good Devastators will work themselves into a corner where you can't really get at them, so pop out grenade, pop back in. Always use your roll effectively. For a Devastator, you want to move side to side. If you notice an assault's in the air and he's about ready to drop on you, roll forward so you get behind him. He doesn't instantly track you, he has to physically turn around to actually start swinging at you. The longer he takes to get a kill, the more likely he is he's going to lose. I know I'm forgetting something, and I will do further multiplayer tips after I've done with the Devastator. Things I've forgotten, because I'll be in the middle of uploading this and go, oh, how did I forget that? But for right now, that should be good enough. I'll have a Devastator tips uploaded, not uploaded, but recorded by sometime tomorrow night, hopefully. Until then, I'm going to get this one encoded and uploaded on YouTube. Till later, bye.